I'm wearing the same outfit I was wearing in our last podcast.
Oh my god, we're color coordinated.
Oh my god, yeah.
Just noticed after the whole day. Okay. I don't know how this works anymore. I came back. I'm like, what is life? What is work? What is a podcast? I don't know her anymore.
This episode is going to be an update or a review of May. So, I mean, we already talked about it in the April one, that it's just going to be me telling you what went on while you were away, and then you telling me about what you were doing, I guess, while you were away.
Like a life debrief.
So, I mean, you left, I guess, didn't you leave on the 1st of May?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And you came back last week on Friday.
Yeah.
So
23rd.
So and now it's like the last week of May, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like not that much went on, I have to say. Like, you didn't miss a lot. There were a couple of emergencies.
Yeah.
Which I dealt with alone, which was a bit, one of them I needed someone to help me. So one thing that was positive about you being away is that we actually found someone who's really good at what they do.
That's really rare. That's really good.
It's really rare to find someone who's good at development. And what I mean, I don't mean like, I think like there's a lot of good developers out there, but I don't think there are a lot of people that can like jump into a code they don't know at all and find a solution really quickly for you, and are able to work within your stack and understand it. And so there was an emergency on one of the projects, and I wrote in our Discord, which was also cool to see that works. So I wrote in our Discord, like, does anyone have the capacity and also the knowledge to help me out with a small task in like, it has to do with Next.js, and I just wrote down like some of the stack that they would need to know to be able to help out. And then someone wrote me like, hey, I could take a look at it. And he was really helpful. He was able to take a look right away.
Love that.
He probably would have been able to solve it within an hour had he had access to the code, but I had to wait to get you to authorize it because
time zones.
The time zone. But also what's so annoying about like the logging in systems nowadays is that you always need an authenticator app, and you can only have one
you could
device.
connect it with yours too, I think.
You think?
Yeah, we had the same thing with,
because I wanted to do it, and it was like I would have had to connect yours.
Oh really? Okay. But you could have multiple, because what if I have two phones? Then I can
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, we need to research how to do that, because there were a couple of things where I needed your authentication to get into. It was also Shopify.
I remember.
That was the other emergency I had, which I didn't need a developer for, but I still needed to get into Shopify. So we had to wait like a day to be able to fix the problem, because I had to wait for you to wake up.
I was in Japan, by the way.
Yeah, so you were like 8 hours ahead, or
I don't even know.
Yeah, you were already sleeping, and then I was sleeping. So then by the time I woke up, you were like having your afternoon, and that's when I was able to get you.
Yeah, we only had like a tiny time frame to communicate anyways.
Yeah. So, but that was really good, because once I got you to help out, we were able to get him into the code, and then he was able to fix it within like 30 minutes. So that was cool. To find someone who can help out and who's willing to, and also is so good at what they do. And so it was a bit of a stressful situation, I guess, because it was like an emergency, and I was like, oh my god, I have no idea how to fix this. And now I need to find someone, I need to vet them, I need to trust them also with this code. But it worked out well.
Yeah.
And also long-term positive experience, because now I know we can probably ask him for stuff like this in the future.
Yeah, we can have like a backup, because we planned the project so that there is not really something going on development-wise while I'm gone. But of course, there's sometimes maintenance work that needs attention.
Yeah, sometimes just random bugs happen. Like there can
always
be an
when
update.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like just when I left, we got like emails from different clients suddenly needing something urgently, and I was like, nothing was going on for the past months in that regard. And then as soon as I'm leaving, I was just about to step out the door, and we're getting like, I don't know, multiple emails by different clients about, I don't know, something that needs to get done.
Yeah, that was another one that happened like right before you left. Like a client reached out from ages ago wanting to make an update, and then we decided to also transfer the code to them. And then that transferring of the project is something we've actually never done before on GitHub. So that was a new experience, which I had to deal with. But that was actually fine. It wasn't so bad. But yeah, there were a few like random development things, like things I've never had to do before, and suddenly I'm like, oh great, now I have to do this, and I'm not qualified.
Yeah, but also, I don't know, this hardly ever happens, and it was really just exactly when I was about to leave.
Yeah.
It was like, it's always such odd timings. Always when you don't have time for things, suddenly a lot of things knock on the door.
Yeah.
So,
But in terms of the workload, it was totally chill. Like there was not a lot because we'd planned the projects that there would be nothing going on while you're away. At least nothing that involved like core development. There were a couple of small design tasks. Like I had some small design stuff for one of our retainer clients. And then our designer's been working on some ongoing projects as well. So it was mostly like management work, feedback stuff for her. I did do quite a bit of content creation. Like I created 3 new videos for YouTube, like recorded them, and then and our designer does the editing for that. So yeah, that was it was nice to have also that day, because usually what I would do is I would come in on like a Friday when no one's here to do the content stuff. I don't like recording when like people are in the other room. I just find it awkward.
imagine when you're like doing the core stuff and then someone else is sitting outside.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just can't be like 100% in it. You have to be kind of playing a role when you're doing these videos, and I just feel like I couldn't 100% do it if someone's like, I know someone is listening or can hear me. So I do usually come in like on a Friday, which is actually kind of a day off for us. So it was nice to have the day when we would usually do podcasts where you weren't here, where I could do that instead. So yeah, it was fine actually.
Yeah, not much going on.
Yeah. Like I feel like when I was away last year, it was way worse.
Yeah, because we had an ongoing design project and then suddenly other things coming in. Like, I don't know, it was like super chaotic. I had to code a lot. Like I had already so much work, and on top of that, there was design work going on, and on top of that, random things came in. So it was like super chaotic.
Yeah.
But also manageable. At the end of the day, it was fine. Like looking back, it wasn't like I was dying. I had to, I don't know, work some odd hours, like more than I usually would, but it was a one-time thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it
that
wasn't
was
so bad.
That was actually the case for me too, because I had to work on the Friday I mean, I know the guy that helped out it only took him like a half hour, but I had to do other stuff. I had to create a contract for him.
No.
Get him to sign the contract, like discuss that with him, then also discuss like the billing, like there was management stuff involved. And then obviously I had to help him with like actually putting the code online, because we had to do it without the client, so we couldn't get him onboarded to the system that the client like owns, so he didn't have the rights or whatever to push it.
Hacky, and
so we had to kind of do it a sneaky way, and that meant I had to be involved with it. So yeah, I mean, those are just things like we didn't have any of that set up for that case, which in the future we would just make sure, like obviously if he's on board with that, have him be onboarded to those things beforehand. So if something comes up, he can just jump in and fix it and deal with it himself, and I don't have to be there.
I mean, now we know that people magically appear and issues magically appear when I'm gone. I think that was like, I would say, the high season. I don't know, there wasn't a time in this year at least where so many issues have been reported by clients than when I was gone right now.
Yeah, that's so true. And it stopped as well. Like it stopped.
Now I'm back and it stopped. That's what I'm saying. It's just when I'm gone, suddenly all the issues arise. And when I'm back again, it's like, I don't know, crickets.
Yeah. So I guess a lesson learned was a little bit like, I mean, I still don't think there are any like design or dev emergencies. However, what I will say is that there are some instances where the client is not willing to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it does kind of become an issue if you're like, I can't fix this until 2 weeks from now. And then it does make sense to have somebody as a backup. And honestly, when that happened, I was thinking like, what do people do who are freelancers and they're a single person and then they're maintaining somebody's website, and then something like that comes up while they're in Japan, they don't have their laptop with them? Like, I guess they just say
I think they take it with them.
You think?
Yeah, I think most freelancers
they're always on call.
Like they go on holidays, but with their laptops.
Yeah.
And when something arises, they will fix it. Like I know so many stories, or when I listen to podcasts about other freelancers or read posts online, they hardly ever take holidays, first of all. And second of all, whenever they take holidays, they take their laptops with them.
That's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same when I was on holidays. I also took my laptop with me. But I mean, it was kind of like work and holidays because I took holidays and then I said, okay, I'm staying longer, but I'm
you
going to be
also
working.
said like you're gonna do a workcation or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. But also because I didn't feel like at that time that I could take off that long because there was also this ongoing project.
There was an ongoing project at the time.
It was unplanned. Like, I don't know. It was like there was a lot going on that year, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think...
But when you went to Thailand, you didn't take your laptop, did you?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so. I think it wasn't even quite 2 weeks.
I don't think anything came up in that time either. It was a good time to go away because it was like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
where
there
a
was
lot
like
is
nothing
happening.
going on.
Yeah.
Because that's when you just start planning things and not execute things. So it was a good timing. That was a good time to go away.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, good positive things came out of it because now we kind of have someone as a backup if you decide to go away again. And also like we would just onboard him properly beforehand. And
yeah,
I don't know anything. I don't know what else happened. Like not a lot happened other than that. I feel like that was the only stressful thing.
Yeah, maybe a key takeaway is that you should take holidays. It's best to have someone as a backup for emergencies. But honestly, this was kind of like just a weird coincidence, I would say, because this was the first time it happened that there was a really like an emergency while I was gone.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything at all.
I feel like my advice would be to just go on holiday and not take your laptop, and worst case, a client has to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's usually...
I just feel like it's so, I don't know, like just in terms of on a human level, disrespectful for a client to expect you to do any kind of work while you're on holiday.
Yeah, and you can...
Even if it's a bug on the website that's like stopping people, like I feel like the client should then just figure it out. They should find someone to fix that one thing.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, but you can tell, like, I feel like a good way to deal with that is to tell clients really beforehand, hey...
Yeah, way in advance.
Not like 2 weeks before you leave, like, by the way, I will be gone. More like, I don't know whenever you book the holidays, you can just like start telling your clients, especially when you're alone, hey, I will be gone in this time frame. Please check for issues, report for issues before so I can fix them.
Yeah.
And I will be off the computer there. So I don't know, just so they're aware. And they may be like, okay, we will check. And then they find things, because then I feel like issues hardly arise.
Yeah.
Unless you're like managing 50 projects alone, which is not really something I would recommend to do, but
yeah. Or if it's a website where like a lot of updates are happening, a lot of that, like regularly.
Yeah. I don't know, it's really difficult, but I feel like as a freelancer, you usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, but usually you are like working project based on like not really huge projects. Or if you work on huge projects, you usually work with a team.
Yeah, that's true. And you only have like one task or one part of it.
Exactly, you're one part of it. But if you tell that team beforehand that you will be gone, then they can also like take their time to look for a backup. Best case, you have an own backup. But in any case, take your holidays.
Yeah.
That's like the most important message of this episode.
100%. I feel like obviously it's easier when you're two people, because one person can always like hold down the fort and put out the fires while the other one is away. But
yeah,
I think it's important even when you're alone to do it.
Yeah.
And are you happy you didn't take your laptop with you? Because remember, you wanted to take it.
Yeah, true. I'm happy, although I would have loved to help you when things were like, the emergencies were happening. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was managed. Like,
but be honest, you wouldn't have even had the time or like
probably
the energy
not.
for it.
No, probably not. I would have done it because it's important. Obligation. But yeah, I'm happy I didn't take it.
I mean, though you did help me, because there were some things I needed to ask you, like, is this going to work the way I think it's going to work?
Yeah, but that's like a bit of mental.
So it was more like just consulting via text.
Yeah, and plus when you know those things,
like there was
it's
some
like not
mental
that difficult
load for you, I guess, because you have to think about work while you're on holiday.
It wasn't so bad, because it's stuff that I knew or didn't know, and then I could just tell you, sorry, I don't know this, but this I know, so maybe because you were researching. And the good thing is that you, first of all, you were coding before. Second of all, you understand the things.
Yeah.
So it's not something completely out of your, completely out of your expertise.
thank God I know how GitHub works.
Exactly. So.
Honestly, I was like, if I didn't know how GitHub works, then I wouldn't have known how to put that code online because...
Exactly, and that's what I mean. So, like, you know those things, and yeah, I can help you to like get to the solution faster, but I knew that you would get to it eventually. So
Yeah.
it's not like, plus there's a lot of documentation online, and I feel like with coding, I don't know, it's like with all the documentation and everything that's online with ChatGPT now, I feel
Yeah, I
like
did use
it's more
ChatGPT
solvable.
just to ask because you were, yeah, well, the problem was occurring.
I was sleeping.
You were sleeping, and then I wanted to ask ChatGPT if it would be possible to add someone to like the verse cell and all these things, which I wasn't sure why I couldn't add him. But then ChatGPT told me why, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like there were all these things where I was like not sure why things weren't working the way I was expecting them to. And those are questions you could have answered, but you were asleep. So
Yeah.
I mean, I can highly recommend ChatGPT. Honestly, it's really good for like just a co-pilot.
Yeah, for research work.
I don't think it's at a stage where it wouldn't have been able to fix the bug, but it was able to tell me how to share the code, how to get someone, how to transfer like the project as well, like with that other client that we had to transfer a project with.
Yeah,
Like
no,
the GitHub,
super helpful. Yeah.
GitHub also has a guide and stuff, but having ChatGPT explain to you like step by step is a different experience. So yeah, that was nice. I don't usually use ChatGPT, but I get why you use it now.
Okay.
For like code stuff, it makes sense.
It does. It doesn't really get me good code. I'm trying again and again, and it's always failing me, or I'm not good at prompting. I don't know what's happening there. But it's really good for research work. It's really good for step by step, for example, with APIs, whatever documentation. Like I imagine if we would have started out at a time where ChatGPT existed, I would have had such an easier time with APIs and everything. I was like coming through those documentations. I don't know, some were so horrible and absolutely not aimed at beginners. It just took me like days to just figure out the documentation, how to, I don't know, deal with the API. And now it would probably be an hour or something.
Yeah.
Or a day at most. I don't know, it's great. It's a great tool.
Yeah, I even used it for like so a lot of the stuff that I set up for the Discord.
Yeah.
I also use ChatGPT to help me.
Yeah, it's great.
Like if you have, and then someone recently asked, like in another community I'm in, asked me, they wanted to create a Discord server for their like gaming community, and they asked me a bunch of questions, and I was like, a lot of it honestly I don't remember because I really just had ChatGPT walk me through it. So I was like, honestly I just recommend asking ChatGPT the exact questions you just asked me. Like what apps do I need, how do I set that app up, like all these things, and you'll be able to do it like I was able to do it. And then they're like, they had never used ChatGPT before.
Never.
No. They were like, what's ChatGPT? I'm like,
no way.
I'm like, girl, it's like an AI. Like, it just helps you. It's like Google, but it just summarizes
that
everything.
person? How do they
I mean, she's young. I think she's like 20 or something, 22. Yeah, but still.
Well, is she like, I just don't know where is she from?
I feel like people who use ChatGPT are people who like are working already.
I mean,
or like maybe in school to write essays, maybe. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, that even my mom knows what ChatGPT
Really?
is. Yeah.
I don't know if my parents know. Anyway, I thought it was funny that she didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but
she was
that's
like,
really hilarious.
But afterwards, she was like, "Thank you so much. This tool was amazing, and I was able to set everything up."
I don't know. I feel like it's on par, not with Google, but like you know what it is.
Yeah,
like
I thought so too.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, well.
She was like, "Where do I find the ChatGPT app?" It's a website. Go on Google. So funny.
Okay, that sweet summer child. Okay, that's cute.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I kind of get it because I think a lot of people may have heard of it, but they didn't know like why they would ever need to use it or in what like context they would need to use it. And honestly, I don't use it very often. Like I used it a lot this month because or also for the Discord server that I set up last month or month before. Like recently, I've been using it quite a bit, but I don't really use it regularly otherwise.
Okay, I do.
So yeah, that was a new experience for me as well.
Okay, happy you found your I wouldn't say passion for ChatGPT, but like the spark for it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Like if I ever had to do anything in the Discord server again, I would use it again for sure.
Yeah, it's super nice. It just helps you. And even if it doesn't give you the right solution, it at least gives you some ideas. And you're like, oh yeah, maybe it's this direction. Because that's often what happens to me when I try to solve an error and I run it by ChatGPT and it gives me another error. I don't know, it just makes it worse sometimes. But then I'm like, oh, wait a second. Maybe it's onto something. It just doesn't give me the right code in this case.
Yeah, it can just inspire. It's like bouncing ideas off of each other.
Exactly, it's like brainstorming.
Even if it's wrong, it still gets you thinking in different ways.
Yeah, in development, there's a term called rubber ducking. It's where you have like a rubber duck on your table, like a literal one, and you take it, and whenever you have a problem, you take it and you talk to it. You explain the rubber duck what your problem is.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's ChatGPT for me now. Like I just like put my problem in there, and then it just, I don't know, it just gives me different directions. I'm like, yeah, right, it could be this. And it just, I would say, streamlines or just makes it easier to find the solution to the problem that I'm having, instead of like coming through documentations, coming through Stack Overflow and everything, just to like find the direction I'm going in and then be like, okay, I need to like research this.
Yeah, I feel like part of understanding a problem is being able to explain it as well. So that's probably where the rubber duck idea came from. But what I also noticed about ChatGPT is it made me so lazy.
Yeah.
Because like even the Versa, like I was asking it things about Versa, and I was like, and it was telling me the steps, and I was like, I can't find this setting in my Vercel thing. And then it tells me again how to find it and like tell it to me like I'm 5 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to find it, and it makes you super lazy.
Yeah, maybe just to explain it, Vercel is like, imagine it like a hosting platform.
Yeah, so it has settings. You can add team members and things.
For your projects. Like.
For website projects.
Yeah.
And it was telling me to do something and I couldn't find that setting. And I was like, I can't find the setting. Like, that's all I told it. And I was like, oh, no problem. It's also so polite. It's so funny.
I know.
Like, if I were to say that to a person, the person would be like, oh my God, you're so blind. You're so dumb.
Fucking stupid.
So lazy. Like, ask it, Google it. And ChatGPT is like, oh, no problem. Have you tried checking here? Like,
I know.
Walks you through it. Like, it's so nice.
Yeah. One time I got really angry with it though. It was like I was trying, and my brain was like already fried. I couldn't code anymore. So I was like, whatever, this is easy. I will just give it to ChatGPT. And it was so confident to telling me, this is the solution. And it was not the solution. I was like, redo this is not correct. And I told him what the error is, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It always confidently told me, I know what it is. Here is the correct code. And here is why it works. And then I just put it in. And it doesn't work. It's just like I kept repeating this cycle until I was like so frustrated, and I was super mad at ChatGPT, poor machine, and then I just coded it myself.
Wow, you could have saved all of that frustration and time.
I know, but it wasn't something difficult. It was about a simple animation, like a fade in. I don't know. It wasn't something crazy. That's why I thought this is something ChatGPT can handle, but it wasn't able to handle it.
ChatGPT is weirdly convinced by wrong information. Like there's these things where you ask it how many R's are there in strawberry, and it tells you there's 2.
And the hallucinations.
And then there's also ones with something like with N, something with an N. I can't remember which word it is, but it's like tells you there's an N before and after a letter, but there's actually only one after.
Yeah.
There's like one N and it says there's 2 or something. Like there's some weird spelling things that's really convinced by.
I mean, you should always double check what it gives you.
Yeah.
Like, and often when I research something important, I also ask it to give me the sources so I can really double check. And I do it with the documentation as well. I'm like, please tell me how this works, but give me also the link to the documentation so I can really double check.
Yeah, I mean, it does give you the sources often as well, just on its own. But I think, for the most part, it's a low risk tool when it comes to things like it's walking you through doing something.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it with something important.
Like using a program you've never used before, like Discord, or like a website that you haven't used much.
Yeah, it's like it's researching for me what I need. It's like a little assistant.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Or like a little manager showing you how to use the tool that you haven't used before.
Yeah, exactly. Without me having to like go through the documentation.
Yeah.
So yeah, really helpful tool, but I think most of our listeners probably already know. But if you don't know, then here's your I don't know, chance or opportunity to finally get to know ChatGPT.
Yeah. So I feel like in your absence, the people that replaced you were ChatGPT, and then
Wow, my job is so replaceable.
and then this developer I found.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not needed at all anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. This is my resignation happening live.
So yeah, that's pretty much what May was like for me.
Okay. What on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh my god, I was like mixing in German.
Oh my god, 8?
It's always 8.
Is it?
Or 9, I don't know.
No, actually, you know what I'm gonna say? Yeah, no, 8.
Okay. Why?
No, 7.
Oh wow. Really went back 1.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, what happened?
1 point away because it wasn't an amazing month.
Fair. Because I wasn't here.
Exactly. 1 point away because I was a little bit bored, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Because there wasn't that much to do.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? I didn't feel challenged.
Yeah. I
And
feel
then
that-
1 point away for, yeah, those couple of stressful days I had.
Okay. So you're like, we're bored, but then stressed.
Yeah, because it was stress with things that I felt like they're not my job. Like, obviously, it was my job because I'm the only one here. But it was things I was like, I literally do not have the skills to solve this by myself.
Yeah.
And then I had to get someone to help me, which was fine. I mean, that's also like what
Another
I'm
problem
here
solving.
for.
Yeah.
I know, but still, it was like, yeah, I felt anxious about it because the client was like, "This is a really big issue." At first, I was like, "I'm just gonna drag it out."
Yeah.
And then they were like, "No, this is a really big issue," and I was like, "Well, FML, like, no, I need to actually solve this before you get back."
Yeah, this is
And that gave me anxiety, and I haven't had anxiety in a while. Like work-related anxiety.
Yeah, I have it when these things occur.
So 1 point off for that.
Yeah, fair.
Because it wasn't stressful in terms of time. It was
But
just
the
stressful.
issue.
It was like mental load, yeah.
No, I get that. That's one thing I really hate about development, that you are literally responsible. And not just responsible, but you are the one contact person if something goes wrong on the website. And usually when the client is really pressing, then it's about something about the shopping experience or the checkout.
Yeah, and
So-
it's exactly, and it's something that is affecting sales.
Exactly. So they don't, like, if it's something that's affecting sales, that I would call is the only time I would say it's an emergency.
Yeah, which is why I was also treated it as one.
Exactly.
Because
so,
before they said that, I didn't realize it was that. Like, it was just an issue of like filtering.
yeah.
And obviously, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But there are stores that don't have filtering.
Yeah.
So I feel like taking away the filtering until we can get it to function properly is an okay solution.
Yeah. And
To
I
just
think,
remove it.
I think it was only 1 week left anyways. Until I was
Exactly.
coming
But then
back.
they came back and said like it's really causing problems. And then I was like, okay, we're going to fix this.
Yeah. I think I would say that's like the worst of the job. Being at the end of the supply chain. Is it called supply chain? Yeah, is it like
Yeah.
production chain, I guess.
Yeah.
Being at the end of the production chain, because if anything else happens in between, yeah, it sucks, but whatever. But if anything happens in the last bit of the production chain, then suddenly, I don't know, everything is on fire, everything is like on you're at fault. Like we had that, for example, with the printing stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's always on you at the end to pull together the timeline, to make everything work, to, I don't know, to work in all the requirements. Like at that point, I feel like the tolerance for things going wrong are very low.
Yeah, they are. And people aren't very patient either,
Exactly. So this is one.
which I also understand. Like, it's fine. And that's
Yeah,
why,
it's-
like, it's our job to also be available.
Yeah,
But it is a bit annoying.
it is. You can say that. It's my least favorite part of the job.
Yeah, so that was my May. What's your rating?
I would say a 9 out of 10.
You're not gonna give it a 10 out of 10, even though you were literally on holiday in the best country in this world.
It's a 10 out of 10 in terms of holidays and being away. I do miss, I don't know, I did miss work though. Every now and not, I don't know, like maybe I was homesick. I don't know, it's like,
You're such a workaholic. I've said this before, and you're like, no, I'm not a workaholic anymore. Now you're like, I missed work.
hey, I remember you saying that you were like, I kind of miss work when you were gone too. You said that with
But
your
I was
words.
gone for like I was gone for 4 weeks, which was over a month.
Yeah, still. I don't know. It was like, it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of being gone and on holidays.
Okay.
But it's still like nice when you come back, and I don't know, you slowly find your way back. I do like my job. I'm sorry
Yeah.
for liking my job. Sorry for liking being here.
It's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
Yeah, I do like it. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. But it's super hard to say because usually we rate the work month and what we had to do and everything.
Yeah.
And now, of course, I've been on holiday. My work month has been a 10 out of 10.
Okay, well, we'll count my rating as the official one.
Yeah, exactly.
sake
I feel like
saying
that's fair. You can make it 1
rating.
point more because we can influence it by holidays.
Okay, so it's 8 out of 10.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're back to what I initially said.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So, because otherwise it's not fair. Because when you're on holidays, you're obviously gonna rate it 10 out of 10
Yeah.
because you'll be gone. So that's not fair. I would say that's not fair.
I was on holiday this month, actually.
Yeah, but like a weekend.
No, it was longer. It was from Friday to Tuesday.
You were still working. Like in between you were working. So you're still a work month. I would say that's like a
Yeah,
micro
yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
Because it was weekend, and so effectively you've been on holiday then 1+ day and a half or 2 days.
Yeah, since Friday I wouldn't work anyway, so it's like 1.5 days.
Yeah,
No, wait, did we leave on Thursday? Or was it Friday?
I mean, regardless, it was still a few days.
Yeah, it was a short holiday.
Exactly. So, whereas I was like on the whole, and if the rating is for the whole month, it's a bit difficult to give it
Yeah.
a fair rating. For me, it was great. Okay, 10 out of 10 work-wise because I didn't have to deal with anything
Yeah.
except for consulting, but I was still like checked out anyways. So
True. Okay, so 8 out of 10 for May.
yeah, with in parenthesis 10 out of 10 from my side.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Never Went to Business School. Don't forget to follow us here on Spotify. And if you enjoy our content, check out our YouTube channel for more educational videos and subscribe to our newsletter on Substack.